Mind you, as I've come through this whole journey from becoming a sports editor to a news editor to then going freelance to then being in this playhouse, along the way, I never really went to film school. And I thought, did I miss a step here? Maybe I'll go into the scripted world because I've been doing a lot of unscripted work here, and I knew I wasn't ready to go into the scripted world. And as I told you, I went and got myself in the Beverly Hills Playhouse, and I studied acting for 2.5, 3 years. And it taught me how to break down a scene. It taught me the actor's intentions. It taught me what overall the scene could be as opposed to the way it was written. And it really taught me, if I was ever going to go into direct, how to speak to an actor, the active language that an actor relates to, the emotive language that an actor relates to, other than saying, well, this time you need to be happier. Well, what does happy mean? You know, at what point should I show that happiness in this scene? So that was another big opportunity that helped really fortify my future. I didn't know a lot of these things that I'm doing. I'm feeling my way through it. Mind you, as I've come through this whole journey from becoming a sports editor to a news editor to then going freelance to then being in this playhouse, along the way, I never really went to film school. And I thought, did I miss a step here? But life was going fine, and I had bought a house, and I was paying for a mortgage, and so now I had responsibilities, and I thought, well, I'm still learning, I'm still advancing. Then I got enough hours to join the union, and I joined the union, and I paid dues for 6 years without ever getting a union job. I barely got an interview, but I was working and I was fine, and I'm like, I'm preparing myself, and it'll happen one day. And eventually I got an interview over at Paramount with this guy, Harold Harrison, who was the head of post-production over there, and Brian Bradford, who was like a VP over there. And they really, I told them what I was interested in doing, cutting a show, and they must have thought this guy's really bold. He's never been an assistant editor. He's never been in the studio system. He's not out of film school. He's been cutting a lot of stuff that maybe we've heard of, maybe we haven't, but he's boldly declaring he's ready to work on a studio and a network show. But I thought it was kind of bold, but they took me seriously. And they then called me back in and offered me assistant editor's job on, I think it was like Cheers or one of those shows. Ron Volk was the editor. And I said, I'll take that job if you think that Ron will allow me to cut so I can show him what I can do. And of course, they couldn't promise anything like that from studio level about an editor who's an award-winning multi-award-winning editor. And so they called me back eventually. And between that opportunity and along the way, I'd met another friend of mine who I call a friend and a mentor. And he's shocked when I call him a mentor. His name's Monty DeGraff, who's a fabulous editor and a great person all around.
And frankly, the reason that you and I are on the microphone today was
right.
It all started when I talked to Monty. Monty's worked with somebody else that knows you. They talk to you. So Monty's the one that starts all of this. He's responsible for all of it. So I'm gonna give him kudos. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanna throw out kudos to him and let you continue.
Well deserved. We're all 6 degrees away from Monty DeGraff.
Right? I like that. That's the new game. 6 degrees from Monty.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon's yesterday.
Yeah,
it's 6 degrees from Monty today.
Agreed.
But, you know, we would see each other we had a mutual friend who was an actor who would throw these wonderful Christmas parties every year. And it would be a chance for us to catch up, talk shop a little bit, have our wives talk a little bit. And so he knew I was really trying to transition over into the scripted world. Well, he became the supervising editor on this TV show, my very first one that I worked on, Soul Food, that was patterned after the movie for Showtime. And I went in, the request was, they were looking for someone who was good with music and was a good storyteller. And I went in, talked to them, they believed in me, and that's really how I got the next huge break. Because when they were looking for someone who was good with music, along the way, I had worked with MTV, I had worked with VH1. Those were all those sort of music doc-driven shows. So I could cut my own music. I wasn't just considered a picture editor. And it just, you know, for them, I was the right guy at the right time. So those two showrunners, Felicia Henderson and Kevin Arkadie, they hired me on the spot there, and it was amazing because that's when I finally went through that passage of getting into the scripted world, and with so much to learn.